Hello, good morning and a very warm welcome to you all. My name's Angela. This is not just about ducks, and today isn't about ducks. Today is Peapod Wine Day. So I've had a request from some of my friends and viewers to do a video of how to make Peapod wine. So I'll quack on with it and I'll just show you what we need. I think I'm going to make about 2 gallons today. So I've got 2 glass demijohns. I don't know what you call them in your part of the world. We call them demijohns. I have 2 bubblers or bungs. We call them bums, and fermentation air traps. So it lets the gases or the air get out, and it passes through this tube here with the bubbler. And that enables for any fermentation gases to be released, but it also, and most importantly, it stops any wine fly entering the fermentation jar. This is because the flies won't swim underwater, but if you get a wine fly in there, it will mess your must up, and we don't want that, do we? We want a nice wine, so that is to enable us to have a nice wine and to stop the bugs getting in, because you work so hard at it, and the last thing you want is to see little bugs and grubs and wormies swimming in your by then vinegar. Yes, I'm also, so you'll have to excuse me, I'm also canning at the moment. I'm canning my salsa. So I'm pressure canning it on 11 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes, and I do believe, yes, I have 10 minutes left to go. So let's crack on with it. I'll just check my temperature or my pressure, maybe increase it ever so slightly. So what I did, because obviously when you pick your peas, you can use any pea pod. It doesn't have to be pea peas, you know, pea pods. It can be any pod at all. So it could be your runner beans pods, or the juices actually from when you cook your beans or your peas. But what you don't want to do then is add salt, because if you add salt, then your liquids will be ruined. So just boil them. So what I've done, I collected my pea pods and I froze them. And to make the pea pod wine, you know, I froze my pea pods and I washed them, froze them, and then once I had enough, I've got them out of the freezer and I put them in here. So here are my pea pods. Yes, I do use purple peas, and I put them in hot water. So I just need now to cook them for a little while to get all that nutrition and all the colour out of the pods itself. So I'll place it on the stove now and turn the gas on. I will pop the lid on. And yes, it is dark in here because the sun is exceedingly hot, and so I've got the curtains shut to stop it heating up the air in the room, which is quite difficult at the minute because of the cooking that I'm doing. So I'll turn the gas on, so it's that one. Then I'll bring this to the boil and I'll simmer it for 10 minutes or so, till the pea pods themselves are soft, until all that nutrition is out of the pea pods and in the water. I'll be back when it's ready to sort. In this saucepan here, I have added 1¼ kilos of sugar, so I'll just add this one in as well. So that'll be 2½ kilos, which is 4 pounds and 8 ounces of sugar into this pan. So welcome back. So my beans or my pea pods have been simmering away, and I found another packet of pea pods in the freezer, so I've upped those in as well. So it took a bit longer than it would normally do, but there we go. So that's all ready. So I'll turn that gas off, and here I have my handy dandy. It is a large sieve that I use for straining my musts, my wine musts, or anything that I want to make into a jelly or anything goes through here. This is a stainless steel one, and I got it from Aldi's, I do believe, and I'm not pushing Aldi's, but I did find this then. It is a really good little sieve with extendable handles, of which you need, and then it's got the rack on the bottom. So I need to strain this now. So there is the sugar I've put into this pan, so I need to start straining it on top of the sugar. Move that pan now. Taking care not to burn myself. So I'll just continue straining this, and then I'll be back. I thought it would be better with a little light on the subject. So I want to strain these. And then I'll have to transfer that liquid into this big pan because there's too much and I'm making a mess. I've got an audience today. My son's friend is here. So I'll be back once I've finished emptying all the pea pods out of this pan into that. So here I am back again. So I've strained all my beans. And what I'll do is, because I've got this pan here, but this contains my sugar, so it's all should be nicely mixed in. There's a load in the bottom of the pan. I can sort that. So I've got some cold water, so what I'll do is, I want the sugar mixed in. So I'll put that in there, and there's a few more pea pods bits. So I'll put that on there. So I have got a bit of pea pod bits left. Although it doesn't really matter if you've got a little bit of the vegetable. I mean, you're not, or the fruit, you're not doing anything except for fermenting. So And as you would ferment your vegetables anyway, or your fruit for long-term storage, which is what you're doing with this. So I've got the remaining bits of vegetable out, or the pea pods or whatever. That's okay. So there we go. So I'll put that by there, and I'll have to remix this in with here. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to divide this liquid between my two demijohns. It's very messy. Give it a bit of a stir. I think another one or two and they'll be level, I think.
Well, we can do the sandwich box, but you know.
So I'll top this up and I'll want it about there to make room, because it's likely to be a very busy wine of fermentation. So, and I'll put a drop more in there. Like so. And I will leave this to cool because it's too hot to put the yeast in yet. So I will remove the I'll put the bungs in, and then when it's cool enough for me to put the yeast in, I will use Hello and welcome back. So, I'm just about ready to put the yeast in my wine, or in the must as it's called. So I'm just about ready to put the yeast in the must. This is going to be a lovely, it is a tad on the warm side, but I hope I don't ruin it. If you have your must too hot, it will cook the yeast. We don't want to cook it, we want it to work. So I've chosen a super wine yeast. It is to enhance the alcohol content of the wine, so I want to try and get a 20%, not because I I like a strong wine. I don't. I've got to have mine with lemonade because I'm a namby-pamby. But if you make it a strong wine, it stores better. Not that it gets much chance to store here, but I think the wine is hand hot. It is a bit rather warm, but I need to get it done now because I've got to do other things and I didn't want to miss this. So I remove the bung, and with this you add 1 teaspoon, usage 1 teaspoon per full gallon of must. So there's 1/2. I'm using 1/2 teaspoon, so I'll put a teaspoon. I shall put another 1/2 teaspoon in. And that's that one done. I might give it a little stir, but you don't need to. You just need to sort of put it on the top, like so. And I'll put the bung back in, and then I will add the next. So 1 heaped teaspoon of yeast in. There we go, and that's it. Give it a little shake. And I'll give that one a little shake. And I hope it hasn't cooked the yeast. Yes, brewer's juice. Speedy fermentation and clearing. I normally don't use that yeast, so this is my first time with that. I like to be mainly organic. I don't like to have additives in things, so we'll try this. I'll just show you what else I've done today. So this should take about 4 weeks to finish fermenting. I may add some sugar to, I don't want the yeast to starve. So if you think your wine has finished, the way to be sure is to either add a bit of sugar or give it a stir. If it starts bubbling and whatnot again, so you'll see the bubbles come up through here, then it hasn't finished. So you add a bit more sugar, or you add a bit more sugar. Yes, if you think it needs it, because if you don't add sugar and the yeast has finished working, or sort of the yeast is not finished working, then you don't have enough sugar in there to feed the yeast. And I don't go adding yeast, any chemicals to feed the yeast. I just, if I think it needs it, I'll add a bit more sugar. So it works out there's 1 kilo in each in each gallon jar. So I've given myself a bit of leeway in that I can add more sugar if I need to. So I'll show you what else I've done today. So I've made some sauce for pasta with salsicci. So I got sugo al salsicci sauce for pasta. So that's dinner today. I've also bottled, I pressure canned a dozen bottles of my sugo, my sauce for pasta, my pasta sauce. So that's all done. This is just a plain one, just onions and basil and salt. So that's my sauce for pasta. I use in a wet jar, and you can see when it's sealed because the tongue on the jar itself points down. So there you have it, a very full day for me. So that's a dozen litre bottles or thereabouts of pasta sauce done. It was pressure canned at 11 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes. So I've got a nice pan of tomato sauce with sausages, a salsiccia, that's how you would call it in Italian. 2 gallons of very nice Peapod wine, God willing that it turns out to be very nice. And as you can see, it's starting to ferment. It's starting to ferment already, so that's brilliant. So I'm well chuffed with that. So I'll turn my sauce down. And I'll show you the wine corner. This is where all my wines are fermenting, so I'll just show you that. So that is my pineapple wine. Lift you up and take you over here. So I've got my strawberry wine there, which is only 2 gallons, but it's okay. It has stopped fermenting, but that's okay. So I'll see if that needs a little bit more sugar. That's my rhubarb wine, which has just about stopped. On the back here, this is fennel wine, which is absolutely stunning, and it's not quite finished. It's still bubbling a bit. That is Peapod wine. That's beetroot wine there, which is still bubbling away very merrily. And that is 6 gallons of the old blackberry, which promises to be a really nice full-bodied red. So with some of the wines, I've used bread yeast. So I'm doing a bit of experimentation to see if bread yeast will work as well as brewer's yeast. So I've not used that one. I like to use high alcohol content brewer's yeast, but I ran out, and so I used bread yeast. So we'll see what we shall see on that. So there we are. That's all for today's program. A quite condensed encyclopedia, as it were, on brewing and doing this, that and the other. So I'll say TTFN for now. So it's ta-ta from me, ta-ta from the ducks, the geese and the chickens. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I know I'm in rather a mess, but it's okay. I've had a busy day and I'm kind of tired, and now it's past 1 o'clock, so I'm going to have a glass of the old wine and some lemonade and a sit down, which I think I've thoroughly earned today. The sauce was over a week in the making for me to get it to the nice consistency, whereas if I wanted to now, or one of my sons wanted to do, all they would have to do is pour that sauce either on a meat, whatever they want, or direct on pasta with cheese. It is delicious. Right, so TTFN, stay safe wherever you are, and as always, God bless. Hugs and love from me, the ducks, the chickens and the geese, the kids and the grandkids. Thanks very much again. Please like and subscribe. TTFN. Bye.